Hello, I am Philip Stoughton. I'm at Apex 2025 and I am on the Koh Young booth. Today I have Joel from Koh Young with me, Oshri from Cybord and Tom from Fuji. Guys, thanks for joining me. I wanted to talk about two things today, AI and collaboration. Prompted a little bit by you guys' announcement that you're collaborating on an AI project, but I also know that the three of you tend to work pretty closely together and have some real customer success as a result. So, Oshri, start by telling me a little bit about the collaboration you've announced recently with Fuji.
Yeah. Okay. So, what we are doing today in order to bring this technology to the market called RTR, real-time interception. In order to intercept a component, a specific component, immediately while it is being assembled over the board, we had to make a collaboration with some machine manufacturer. And Fuji for us was the natural one to pick. And actually, we were working together for many years now, collaborating. But this is very intense. I mean, to make it work directly with the machine and to react within a few milliseconds. Yeah. That's not something that we can do alone. We need the other side. And based on this, all the collaboration being done. And I truly believe that's the right way to bring the AI to this market. If we don't do this collaboration, we have a solution. Koh Young have a fantastic solution. Right. Fuji are a leading solution. But if you are not going to collaborate, it's not going to work for the customer.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think it's huge.
That's where we take it.
And Tom, from your point of view, this collaboration that you've developed, is some of that prompted by what you're hearing voice of customer in terms of demand?
Absolutely. It's especially when it comes to like the collaboration we have with Cybord, we have to look at a lot of different aspects of quality, and it all comes down to quality at the end of the day. But really, what's happening out there with defective components or counterfeit components, or there's just a lot of stuff going on around the world that we have to make sure we account for. And obviously the partnership with Cybord gives us that capability, as we discussed, catching that on the front end, making sure that we're not placing a bad part in the first place.
Yeah, so, and you're doing it in real time, and you're doing it at a pace that doesn't impact line speed?
Correct, exactly correct.
And that's essential, isn't it? Joel, when I look at what you're doing and I look at the KSMART technology and the way you're using AI within that, I think, wow, we've got this amazing thing in terms of inspection. But to build out this concept of using AI across a whole facility, somehow we've got to make sure your AI can talk to Oshri's AI and it can talk to Tom's AI as well. That idea of having much more synthesized solutions is really quite exciting.
It is, and it's also very challenging, right, as you might imagine. But I think the key is, we still have to manage our own space, right? And then we have to figure out a way to interconnect. If we can do some of that along the way, make that interconnection easier when it's all said and done, then that's great, right? But in our case, for instance, so KPL Mounder, you mentioned. So we're working with Tom and his team at Fuji for basically instantaneous feedback of anomalies related to XY positional, offset, theta. We can tie that to a feeder, spindle, a nozzle. With what Tom and his team are doing with Oshri and his team, they eliminate the bad part piece of that, right? Yeah. So that's one less piece that we have to account for. I mean, we're still going to check, right? Yeah. We're still going to check, but it's basically giving that feedback to the placement machine and say, hey, you might have an issue here, there, or somewhere else. Yeah. And then you, as the mounter provider, as the mounter solution, can automatically adjust on the fly. The AI piece is embedded in there, but now we have to be conscious of. Again, we're just providing information, right? We're not adjusting the mount. We don't do that, right? We basically say, this is what we saw.
Don't use the word just. The provision of the data is a huge part.
Exactly. And that's a lot of data.
We can have
and that's a lot of data.
2-hour conversation.
Maybe
3, maybe more. Right. And that is the key to all of this, as we discussed previously. So, so we take a look at some of the tools we're showing this week. And the efforts that we've put in over the last year, it's really all related to the same tools that we've been talking about for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But it's coming to fruition. All of that talk all those hours and episodes of conversation we had, where we said the data really matters.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're going to see that because it is what is needed to create AI engines to make these changes.
Right.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So you look around and you say, well, what's new? Well, it's kind of behind the scenes because it's all the AI that has provided the new capabilities within auto programming, within KPO, within Smart Review, all of these tools that we're using. So again, so we're doing that on our side, but we're also working together to make sure that what we're doing aligns
with everybody else.
Is what we need to be doing for that end goal.
Yeah, Oshri, the reason I say it's not just data. You're a AI company. You're machinery agnostic in theory, but you need really good data. These people are providing you with the data to do your job. You don't produce any data. You take that data, you push it up to the cloud, and you do some really, really cool stuff with it. For you, working with real domain experts must be an essential part of how you manage the process.
For sure. I mean, these are the sources of data that we can utilize if we don't use very high quality Koh Young images, or if we're not taking the bottom side of the every component from Fuji. We're unable to collect the data, and if it's not consistent and in high quality and in a way that not just consistent, because we're not just looking over the component, we always keep some metadata related to every component, so we can identify where it is over the board, right? And if we don't get it from Fuji or we don't get it from Koh Young, well, it's almost useless, right? And this is so AI alone cannot live. I mean, AI, it's a good, the buzzword is beautiful, but you need to do something useful with it. And in order to make something useful, you need some more data from these guys who are actually providing excellent information. And the great winner from all of this is actually the customer. This is how we all three win, and benefit from it. I think that's super essential to have these kind of partners.
Yeah, it's both customers as well. It's the EMS guy and it's the OEM who's his customer that are benefiting from it. Tom, when you look at the way the industry has developed over the last decade, we spent a lot of time talking about Industry 4.0. We really, I think, kind of overhyped it. We really didn't get to where we wanted to with it. AI seems to be moving much faster. It seems to be really hitting the road with some real rubber. Do you think the industry is moving faster as a result of AI towards that digital Nevada?
There is no question about it, and it's equivalent to some of the other topics we talked about in the industry. There was it's coming. It's not coming anymore. It's here and moving, as you said, at a pace that everybody better keep up with, or they're not going to be competitive. That's just the way it is at the end of the day. But I think back to Joel's point about playing in our own space, we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing. But without the collaboration, as Oshri said, we're dead in the water. But it's moving. It's moving faster than ever. People are smarter. They're developing smarter machines. They're developing smarter factories, and the feedback is coming, like these guys, at a rapid pace. It's coming faster than we've ever seen it. And
I'm really curious.
If we're not collaborating, we're going to be outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really curious where this AI can take us within the industry, because when I look at the way AI is being used elsewhere, for example, in the fast fashion industry, where it's being used to predict demand, it's being used to provide supply chain signals all the way through.
Absolutely.
I think there are some really good opportunities there. We didn't do a great job of managing the bullwhip of the COVID supply chain disruption at all. As someone said to me, AI wouldn't have seen that coming, but AI would have had a playbook for what was coming next. And we didn't know what was coming next. So I think it's exciting there. But all these things use multiple AIs. And I'm curious whether there's a role for this kind of agentic style of AI that's actually interrogating the Koh Young system, interrogating your system, talking to yours. Is that something that are people talking about it? Should they be?
Well, we are.
Right, exactly.
We are today,
and I'm sure they are too in their own meetings, right? It's evolutionary,
Yeah.
as we've discussed, right? We have to walk before we run. But as Tom said, we are clearly walking very quickly now.
Yeah.
And you know, the generative piece where the human input is being utilized is really at the forefront. But we're already looking at, just for an example, with Smart Review. Okay, we're basically using AI to help the operator classify defects. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to eliminate them completely by being able to, over time, adjust the tolerances for what they are willing to accept.
Yeah.
Right.
So why can't we, at some point, write that information back to the program automatically?
Right,
So that is never failed to start with, right? If that's the situation. Similarly, we take a look at things like correlating solder joint integrity to the printer, to the print quality, right? If I can see or determine at post reflow AOI that I'm getting 75% on my solder fillet up the lead, and I really only need 50%. Why don't I want to, and why can't I at some point tie that information back to the printer to adjust pressure, speed, release, to put down less paste? Right? I don't need 70%. I only need 50%.
Right.
And instead of telling somebody, go make a change,
Go make it happen.
why don't
So
I
you're hitting on the key point there, Joel.
automatically?
Yeah, and
I think that's what we're in
you know, at the end of the day, it's
phase.
for us, it's machine learning, right?
Yeah.
And I just sat through a discussion where we appreciate all the data, we appreciate all the feedback that can go to the printer, but why isn't the printer making the adjustments itself?
Yeah,
and
right.
that's really the same technology that we're talking about. It has to go to the next step, and AI is going to be the only way to get there. There's no way around
Instead
it.
of coming from the SPI, we're gonna go further down line
Exactly.
and correlate and tie it back.
I have a one. I'm a supply chain guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a
Absolutely,
machinery guy.
No, no.
I'm coming from a different world
You're the-
of
you're
the
the-
user,
you're-
actually.
You're the guy that had the problem.
Yeah, that I have to solve to deal with the problem applications. And I have to tell you, I give you one case study that all the three of us can just change the world how it looks today. So, for example, today, every OEM is testing 100% functional test each and every component they are moving out of their line.
Yeah.
Okay. Why they are doing this? Because, and by the way, that's the same program running on all of them. Now, if you take a complicated board with, I would say, 2,500 components over it, it would take 10 minutes, between 10 minutes to 1 hour per board just to test it, full functionality.
Yeah.
Now, imagine yourself, if we could change this world a bit and make two types of tests, we would say, this test is testing bad boards, not bad boards, suspicious board, and this one is testing just the clean ones.
Clean ones.
The clean ones.
So different
Now,
tests.
we could run much faster, 100%, but most of the population would get the shorter test, and we could significantly reduce the test and the test time of every board. Now, you cannot get to this if you're unable to indicate a correlation between what happens in Koh Young place and in Fuji's place, and then in the material place. If you don't correlate this information up until the functional test results, they won't be able to get there.
Yeah.
And that's where the world goes
Yeah.
to.
And those things are game changing in terms of efficiency, in terms of competitiveness,
Capacity,
in terms of
efficiency,
performance.
everything.
Cost savings.
Yeah.
Cost saving, everything is cost actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost.
So that goes in.
Good stuff.
And it's
I love
also
it.
not a request anymore. It's expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nobody is saying how to. Is there a way
It
we
would be
can do
nice
this?
to have this.
Yeah, right.
We
exactly.
need this.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be for so many years we came to the show and others like it, and it was Smart Factory.
Right.
Again, that's now also implied, right?
Yeah, right.
Those are
No question about it.
those are table stakes,
Nobody
right?
wants
as you
a
like
dumb
to say.
factory.
That's right.
And AI is moving
Yeah.
into the the front and center position
Yeah.
as the kind of the new talking point, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we get together in these spaces.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I think what I really like about what you guys are doing is this fierce collaboration. I think is hugely important, but also this respect for domain expertise. I think the only way AI works for a manufacturer is domain expertise combined with this system-wide thinking.
Absolutely.
And if you can do both of those, you can improve efficiency, you can improve performance, and improve competitiveness. and make more money, which is what they're all in, what everybody's in business for.
That's business.
Exactly right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's why we're here.
Yep.
Right.
Thanks, guys, for your collaboration, but also collaborating on the panel today. I really appreciate it.
Good. Thank you, Phil.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having us.